Hi, I'm Danny Donuts, and my wish for you this holiday season is that each and every one of you gets to experience a my mouth is bleeding Bert moment. Do you know what I'm talking about? It's that final scene here in It's a Wonderful Life. George Bailey was just going through life trying to do his best, but things got really bad. It just snowballed and went really downhill fast. And it got so bad that he was about to take his life. But that's when Clarence, the guardian angel, stepped in and saved him. And he gave George that opportunity to see what the world would look like if he had never been born. And it was pretty bad. So bad, in fact, that George ran back to that same bridge and he pleaded with God for his life. He says, "I want to live. Please, God, let me live again." And just then, Bert, the policeman, comes looking for George, and he says to George, he says, "Your mouth's bleeding, George." He says, "How's that?" "My mouth's bleeding, Bert! My mouth's bleeding! Susan's pedals! Susan, there they are! Bert, what do you know about that? Merry Christmas!" And he starts running down the bridge like a crazy man. Merry! 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 And then he sees the car that he had just smashed into the tree, and he's like, "Yay!" And then he sees that he's in Bedford, back in Bedford Falls, and he's like, "Yay! Hello, Bedford Falls!" So then George Bailey's just running down the street like a crazy man going, "Merry Christmas! Merry Christmas!" And there's people coming home from church and they're just walking along going, "Merry Christmas, George! Merry Christmas, George!" Just like it's a normal day. And then he's like, "Merry Christmas, Emporium! Merry Christmas, movie house! Merry Christmas, you wonderful old building and loan!" But then he just doesn't stop there. He runs across the street to his arch enemies. "Hey! Merry Christmas, Harry Potter!" And Mr. Potter's like, "Happy New Year to you! In jail! Go on home, they're waiting for you!" And that's exactly what he does! Merry! Merry! Mary! Where's Mary? And then he goes into his living room and there's all these people in suits and he's like, "Well, hello, Mr. Bank Examiner." And the bank examiner's like, "Mr. Bailey, there's a deficit." "I know, $8,000. And then this other dude is like, "Miss George, I got some paperwork. I bet you it's the warrant for my arrest. Isn't it wonderful? I'm going to jail. Merry Christmas. Reporters, where's Mary?" Now this is a dude who's high on life. He's accepting his life exactly the way it is and exactly the way it isn't. And when that happens, that is when the miracles happen. Because George Bailey was in a heap of trouble. He had to raise all sorts of money or he was going to be spending Christmas in jail. The whole community of Bedford Falls came in and rallied around George. They brought him all of their hard-earned cash and they kept dumping out their pockets and their jars. Annie, the Bailey housekeeper, says, "I'm saving this for a divorce if I ever got a husband." And everybody laughed. And Mr. Martini says, I broke the jukebox too." He goes, "Hey, Mr. Martini, how about some wine?" And everybody turned it into this big old party and they were singing songs and stuff. And then George picked up a book.
What's that?
"It's a Christmas present from a very dear friend of mine." And Harry Bailey gave him that toast and he said, "To George Bailey, the richest man in town." At least for that moment. And Clarence got his wings. There were all sorts of miracles happening. And I hope this holiday season you have yourself a my mouth's bleeding Bert moment. And have yourself a wonderful life. Look, Daddy, teacher says every time a bell rings, an angel gets its wings. That's right. That's right. Attaboy, Clarence.